to complain about everything, and they're not going to, you know, and maybe that's part of WWE where they've lost, they've lost the trust with something happened. But let's actually go through the entire um, pay per view, shall we? Um, we'll start with the kickoff show, and it was announced that it was going to be two kickoff matches. It only turned out to be only one, which was good. It was only um, Bryan and Rowan, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, against the Usos, and these guys are really really good. I'm seeing some growth in Rowan as well. Maybe I think you know Rowan was always seemed to be like the lesser of the Wyatt clan. You had Bray, and then you had Luke Harper, and then Rowan was just there, and but he's showing some great passion, some great fire. I'm loving what they have with him. The Knuckles to the Temple is a interesting hold, but I think it can still be very very effective. And this match was awesome. As it should be between these two teams. Well, we had the Usos win, and they're with the Usos being on SmackDown, on Raw, excuse me, and they just beat the SmackDown Championship, and now with this wild card, are they going to be the number one contenders? For the SmackDown tag titles, or because they beat another, are they going to be another champion? Another champion? Would they be in line for Hawkins and Ryder and their championship? So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I loved it. As always, I always say, it should never be awful if you do it right. And with Bryan and Rowan and the Usos, they do it right. I had it at 3.5 stars. I thought it was very very good. Um, and actually, before I get into, and he was going to present a new championship that is going to be a part of WWE. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of because there's already too many titles. There really is. They really need to, merge all of these titles for the most part. The tag titles, the women's titles, and the heavyweight championships need to be merged. Keep the Intercontinental and United States together, but so I don't know. I know a lot of people on Twitter are saying, "But this is going to be the hardcore title," but I'm hoping there's not. There's no need to try and bring back something from the dead. It should not be like a European title. It should not be the hardcore title. It should be something new, maybe something innovative, something that could possibly be a positive. Could actually help out some people. So, and maybe just maybe it has something to do with the women. Maybe maybe this is a women's championship, and but still, even that still, they would need to merge the championships, but they're not going to do that. So I'm not sure what it is. I'm hoping it's something innovating, but innovative. But I'm kind of wondering if it's just going to be another hardcore championship, and I don't know if that's something that's not something that's going to bring ratings to WWE, and this is why they're doing it. They're doing it so that to try to pop another rating. Hey, there's gonna be a title, it could be the hardcore champion. And so it is. It is what it is. So now let's go ahead and let's talk about the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. We'll start with But we'll start with, as always, we'll go in order, and we'll start with what they started with, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I thought this was incredible. I thought all 8 women here worked their ass off. And, at one point, um, um, Mandy Rose kicks Carmella in the leg, and Carmella is hurt, and then Mandy Rose is almost like that she's trying to. It seems like that she's trying to go for, and Carmella pushes her off, and and this was almost like real. This was almost like, fuck away from me. You know what I'm saying? So many people were really worried that this is what she was really seriously hurt by this, because she had to be carried out and everything. But she comes back later in the match with something on her knee. She even does a super kick with the knee. So it was a work. However, I put this on Twitter. When she came back down, she gave a very stiff elbow to Mandy Rose in the face. It was almost like, it was like when Braun Strowman he hit he hit, remember that when he hit Brock Lesnar. Brock didn't like it, so he legit gave Braun Strowman a power punch to the face. It was almost like that. It was like, dude, you weren't supposed to hit me that hard in the leg, so I'm gonna give you a straight up elbow right to the jaw. So that was amazing. I said, I wonder if Carmella and Mandy Rose worked themselves into a shoot, because it more than likely was a work, her knee injury. But there could be a possibility that she kicked it too hard and actually injured her, which would be just crazy stuff. So we'll have to see what happens. I'll be looking out for all of the insiders to find some of the spots. All girls got to shine. And very, very just great stuff here in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. The ending was, after all that stuff with Carmella, Mandy Rose getting helped by Sonya Deville. And Sonya Deville, was helping her up the ladder. Bayley runs in, pushes him off the ladder, and then she gets the Money in the Bank contract. So Bayley is the Miss Money in the Bank. Now, a lot of people are wondering, is this like a big FU to Sasha Banks? Hey, Sasha, this could have been you, but you didn't want to come back. So Bayley stayed. She's going to get, the Money in the Bank contract. So, probably so, because WWE is petty. we know this. They are petty. They didn't want Brock Lesnar to be the youngest champion, so then they put it on Randy. No. What was it? It was somebody else who had like the longest reign. No. CM Punk had the longest, and then Brock Lesnar came along and held the Universal Championship for about 500 days. This was the modern era, of course. So, and then of course we know AJ Lee and Nikki Bella as well. So I don't think the Demolition one was. Even though I think Demolition is on the outs, I really do think that they really was just giving it to the New Day for that. So they decided, hey, well, New Day is getting close. Let's not take the title off of them. So let's just keep them until they break Demolition's record. So, but yeah, we know that he is petty. So this Money in the Bank contract was definitely a big FU to Sasha Banks for not coming in. So yeah, that again, fantastic. 4.25 stars. My rating. Fantastic match. Next, we had the U.S. Championship between Rey Mysterio and Samoa Joe. This was not much of a match, but more of a story. It seemed like they did a lot of storytelling, today and tonight, and not too much wrestling until the very end for the most part, but a lot of storytelling. So, but yeah, this went like 5 minutes. They did a thing where Mysterio rolled him up, and referee counted to three. Although even Samoa Joe's shoulder was obviously up, so Rey Mysterio's the United States champion. And afterwards, Samoa Joe beat down Rey Mysterio in front of Dominic. But this was a half star. This wasn't a match. This was more of a story. Like this was a segment for a story, for a bigger story. So I'm not sure where they're going with this, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, half a star. Just then we had Miz versus Shane in the steel cage, and this was, this should have been. Again, I don't know. This was kind of more story than match. This really should have just been like a total Miz beatdown. If there was going to be a Vince McMahon, then this should beating the living hell out of Shane McMahon and him getting the victory, him walking out of this thing. This even could have been like Austin McMahon when Austin just beat the hell out of Vince, and then he get ready to leave, and then Vince would give him the middle finger. That could have been that same thing. Could have had Shane giving him the finger, and then Miz would come back and beat him up some more. But it didn't happen. They actually tried to have a kind of competitive match. It was competitive, and it was entertaining, but the finish was kind of awful. I mean, the Miz should have won. There's no reason for Shane to keep going over in these matches. There really isn't. There's no reason for Shane to keep going over in these matches. And I'm sure, I'm almost certain that it's not over yet. So, this feud will continue. So the finish was after Miz is trying to suplex in, from a superplex from the cage, but Shane slips through his shirt that the Miz is holding and falls to the floor and wins. And I don't get it. So Shane McMahon beat Miz. So I'm not sure they've had a Falls Count Anywhere match. They've had a steel cage match. The only match that's left is the Hell in a Cell match, and I guess they can have the Hell in a Cell match at Stomping Ground or at at Extreme Rules or something. But I'm just kind of tired of it, and I don't want them to ruin what they've got with the Miz. They've got a really good thing with babyface Miz here, so I'd like to see him move on. I really would like to see him move on. So, and he should have won, but I just don't know. So, whatever. Next was the Cruiserweight title match between Tony Nese and Arya Daivari. Some boring chants in there, and I'm not a big fan of the boring chants. I don't think that's the right way to show your displeasure with a match. I really don't, because I don't think this isn't Goldberg Lesnar when they're just going through the motions. These two people were not going through the motions. They were trying to have a match, trying to tell a story, trying to entertain you, and so I don't think you should give a boring chant to this type of match. But whatever went down, it just did. Tony Nese won. He retained the Cruiserweight Championship, but I will say that it was not all of that stuff. So yeah, 2 stars for that match. Next was the Raw Women's Championship match between Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans, and I like what they did here. They kind of had Lacey Evans work on a body part, which is fine. And this is wrestling 101. You find a weakness and you work on it. Fine, because she is probably a little bit she's probably a little green. I guess that's the thing. Green. She's a little green in the ring. She's only been wrestling maybe for a couple years. And then she only been down in NXT for a little while, from at least from what I can tell. So she was brought up pretty early because of the whole December crap that they talked about. But yes, that they, she was, so she looked green, and I think that was a good way to get her in there. They just had her work on Becky Lynch's arm, and I thought that was good. She did some great stuff and some great stuff. And I should say for a minute, going back to the steel cage match, there was a part where Miz hit the Skull Crusher finale on a chair, and he went for the pin, and Shane put his foot on the ropes, and the referee stopped the count, and there was a big bullshit chant, and the announcers and even a lot of fans would say, "Well, wait a minute, it's a steel cage, that shouldn't be thing." Jimmy Corderas on Twitter, a former referee, said that the only time a foot on the rope does not stop a pin is when it falls count anywhere. So it seemed like it was right, but from his point of view, but I don't know. I kind of agree with the fact that that shouldn't matter. It's a steel cage match. That shouldn't be, because Miz put Shane in the figure four, and he grabbed the ropes, and the referee didn't break the Miz. So we had a referee mistake in a U.S. Championship match, with a referee mistake apparently in the steel cage match, and then in the cruiserweight match, I don't think there's anything. But then now in this Raw Women's Title match, we had one where the finish was a roll up by Lacey Evans to a 4 count, and referee did not count, and then Becky Lynch ran over, held her, and blocked on the armbar, and Lacey Evans tapped out. So who knows what's going on here? If the referee, if the referee botches all work, or if they really just screw crap up. But it was just crazy. So as Becky Lynch is leaving, Charlotte Flair comes down and says, "Nuh-uh, honey, come on back in this ring. Come on back in this ring and get your ass whooped." And that happened. And allegedly, they were talking about they was going to be later, but it happened. We transferred right into the SmackDown Women's title match, and of course we had these two can get it on, and they can do some great stuff, and love it, and some fantastic stuff here. In the past from these two, and this one was okay. Finish was Becky Lynch throws Charlotte Flair to the outside after Charlotte was trying to go for a natural selection onto the apron. She hit her back, fell to the outside. Becky Lynch tells the referee to counter out, and she's on the ropes. Lacey Evans comes down, hit Becky Lynch with the woman's right, which, by the way, I think that she needs a new finisher. She needs a new finisher. The woman's right, because she's throwing hands. It's kind of like with Big Show with the KO punch. Like, Big Show's punching all through the match, and then he hits a KO punch, and all of a sudden that doesn't make any sense, at least to me. So, but she hits it with the woman's right. Charlotte tries to go for something. Becky rolls up. Charlotte kicks out, hits her with the running boot, and pins her. And Charlotte is the 9-time women's champion. And I enjoyed it because I just think there's too much Becky Lynch. There's too much. I said this in my That's a Shoot. There's too much Becky Lynch on these shows. So it was
right around 3:20. Without giving away too many of your secrets, we don't want to do that. But what's behind your personal successes?
Pause this. And there's too much Becky Lynch. She needs to be stuck on one show, and Now she's going to be on Monday Night Raw, hopefully, and hopefully they'll do more than just have her do promos, because the promos are getting old too. So now she's the Raw Women's Championship. She's just gonna be on Raw, and Charlotte 9-time SmackDown Women's Championship. So now Charlotte, Becky Lynch, she can't believe it, and so she goes out and she attacks Lacey Evans. Charlotte comes out, beats her up. Joining the ring, her and Lacey Evans start to beat down on Becky Lynch. Bayley comes down to make the save, and she ends up throwing Charlotte into the ring post. Bayley decides to cash in the title, cash in the Money in the Bank. She goes to the top rope, and she hits the elbow, and it's a 1-2-3 victory for Bayley. Bayley is the SmackDown Women's Championship. Now I have no problem with this, as long as somehow Becky Lynch get the title taken off of her. That's all that matters, is that Becky got one of the titles taken off of her. So I have no problem with this. Bayley is the SmackDown Women's Championship. So now we'll probably get some Bayley and Charlotte for the next couple months, which, if anything's like that SmackDown match, that would be fine. So the Raw Women's title match, I gave 2 3/4 stars. I thought it was perfectly acceptable wrestling. And I gave the SmackDown Women's title match, and then I combined that with the Bayley cash in, 2 3/4 stars as well. Just it was pretty interesting. It was pretty good. So next was Roman Reigns versus Elias, and here we go again, where it's not necessarily a match, but it's a story. As they show Roman walk into the ring carrying his vest, and Elias comes out, hits him with his acoustic guitar. Goes to the ring, sits down in his chair, gets an electric guitar, and starts doing a thing with the electric guitar. He runs down Hartford, Connecticut, and like he always does, the cheap hill heat. He finishes his song. He goes up. Roman comes out, gets him with a Superman punch, throws him into the ring. Referee rings the bell. Hoo-ah! Spear! And it's a 1-2-3 victory for Roman Reigns. Listen, I don't know. I'm about ready to give up on WWE really doing anything remotely smart with Roman Reigns. I really am, because they have this reboot that is just it wasn't the perfect reboot, obviously, because you never want anybody to get cancer. You never want anybody to get cancer. You never want a cancer survivor to have it flare back up. Especially his kind of cancer, which a lot of people say, if you beat it once, if it comes back, you're more likely to succumb the second time. But luckily it wasn't that bad of a comeback. He was able to put it back in remission again very quickly. And you had this goodwill where, people were willing to give. I think majority of people are really willing to give Roman another shot, cheer him, root for him, all this stuff, right? Really give him the opportunity. Now I talked about this in my That's to Shoot on Friday. There were some boos in England. And I really said that if you are somebody who are willing to boo Roman Reigns 3 months after his comeback, I don't really have much time for you. I really don't. I don't have much time for you. I use some more colorful language, but I'm just gonna say that I don't have too much time for you. But at some point, if the boos do start to come back, you can't blame the fans anymore. At that point, you're gonna have to blame WWE for completely screwing the Roman Reigns over again. It really is. So I don't know. This is not gonna help. Him kind of just doing a lines like that in 9 seconds. It's no, there's nobody doing the live chat. So, but yeah, I'm really just not a big fan of what they're doing with Roman right now. So hopefully they're keeping the one thing I can say that they are doing is that they're keeping him away. They're just not putting them in the title picture, which they shouldn't. Like I've said, that he shouldn't be in the title picture at the earliest SummerSlam, at the latest Survivor Series. Really, that's when he should start getting, he should start being put in matches for #1 contender matches or something like that. So we'll see what happens with that. So yeah, again, it wasn't a match; it was a story. The Universal title match is next between AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, and this was great. This was, of course, this was going to be great. These two guys were can do great stuff in the ring. We saw the inverted superplex Falcon Arrow spot from Seth Rollins, so that was good. We saw some really good stuff, and I think one of the good things I think we saw here was that we didn't see a lot of false finish kickouts. We had the Styles Clash kick out, but it wasn't ridiculous. That's one of the things that I get upset with, is that when they do the finisher kick out stuff. That's no. I mean, I would rather the finisher be the match, unless it's a submission move. Then obviously you can understand. If you lock on a submission move and they grab the rope, you lock on a submission move and they reverse it. You lock on the submission move and and they somehow get out of it. They reverse, they counter it. It's that makes sense. That's why I'm more willing to if someone has a submission move, Becky Lynch disarm her. If she puts on 4 times in a match, that doesn't bother me. But to see somebody do when Brock Lesnar hits Roman Reigns with 6 F5s, that bothers me. So I'm glad to see that didn't happen in this match. We had a fantastic show off, and we had a great finish. Seth Rollins beating AJ Styles to win to retain the Universal title. After that, a show of respect. So we'll see. Everybody was maybe thinking that maybe AJ was gonna do a heel turn. That still could come, but I think at this moment they think they're probably gonna keep AJ Styles face, because there's still a lot more heels that they can come. And as we saw later on in the evening, Seth Rollins needs to watch his back. So yeah, but I had it at 4.5 stars. I thought it was pretty good. It was the match of the night. So then, after a Kofi Kingston interview, we get the Lucha House Party coming out, and they're announcing that it's going to be a 6-man tag. And I was wondering, so what is this? What could this be? What could this be? I was thinking maybe this is like the Viking Raiders and Cesaro. Maybe these guys, they're gonna, do a little, this is like the cool down match, because this, like I said, this was just a great match. So, and they were probably expecting Seth Rollins and AJ to be a great match. So they they booked a 6-man tag to cool down so that people would be ready for Kofi and KO. But what happened was Lars Sullivan happened, and he took out all 3 members of the Lucha House Party. So, and a lot of people don't like it because of the stuff that that came out in the last couple of weeks about Lars Sullivan and some of his comments in the past. So a lot of people didn't have it at this guy for what he said. He's beating up 3 Mexican wrestlers, and but listen, I think if as long as Kalisto, Lince Dorado, and Grand Metalik, as long as they are okay with it, then I'm okay with it. You know, I'm just, that doesn't bother me one bit. And listen, and right now they they want to make Lars Sullivan a big thing, and they need to continue to do this. Unfortunately, they can't just take him off of television from because of this stuff that happened. If they're looking to make Lars Sullivan a big thing, that's what they have to do. So I have no problem with that. So then you go to the WWE title, Kofi and KO, and I thought again this was okay. It was not a lot of chemistry between these two, but it's totally fine. You know, I think it's totally fine. Wrestling, I had it at 3 stars. This is totally fine. I like the fact that Kevin Owens was he started taking off Kofi's shoes at the end of the match. That was fun. Kofi hit the Trouble in Paradise. Now here's what I say about this. Kofi hit one Trouble in Paradise that knocked Kevin Owens out of the ring. That's okay. He didn't kick out. Second, when he hit him again with another one, he wins. So I was totally okay with that, and Kofi retains the WWE Championship. And by the way, after a lot of thoughts, I have decided that yes. If for the people out there who said that the Kevin Owens turn was too quick, I now agree with you. It should have been longer. What it should have been this. If they wasn't willing to wait on Daniel Bryan, then this should have been Randy Orton. This should have been Randy Orton. And then they could have done Randy Orton in these 2 pay-per-views. They could have done Randy Orton at this. They could have done Randy Orton at Shoot Showdown. Then they could have done like Rusev at Stomping Ground. They could have done Nakamura at Extreme Rules, and then they could have turned have Kevin Owens turn, and have Kevin Owens versus Kofi Kingston at SummerSlam. It would have been more impactful. It would have been more heat behind it. It would have been even better than before. So I think that was. I think I now agree. That was the right way to go about it. So 3 stars for this WWE title match. And then we had the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Now earlier in the evening, we'll go to three segments. We had a segment, I believe it was after the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, where Triple H was on the phone talking to somebody. Sammy interrupted, talking about we need Braun Strowman's gonna get his revenge, yada yada yada, and Triple H tells Sammy that Braun Strowman is in the building, is banned from the building. Then I don't know if it was the U.S. Championship or the Steel Cage match, but after that we get something where we've got people running down the thing, and we've got Sami Zayn hung by his ankles upside down, and so we got that, and apparently he was beat up so bad that he was taken to the hospital. So he's out of the Money Bank ladder match. And then later on, we get a thing from Triple H, who finds Braun Strowman, who says, he accuses him of beating up Sami Zayn, then that's not gonna put him in the bank. He's just asking to leave. Braun Strowman says, "Whatever, man," and he goes. So then now come Miz Money in the Bank ladder match. It's only 7. These guys are doing fantastic. These guys are having a fun time, great time. The stuff they do is incredible. All these athletes are just fine and dandy. But man, oh man, the spot of the night, maybe the spot of the year, is at some point Andrade puts a ladder in between another ladder and the ropes, and him and Finn Balor are on top of the ladder, and they're fighting, and he's on the opposite side of the ladder he's set up. So he beats up Finn Balor, and what he decides to do is a sunset flip power bomb onto the ladder, and he power bombs Finn Balor on the ladder, and Finn bounces off of the ladder. It was like he power bombed him on a trampoline. Oh my! Incredible. I mean, just incredible. Shout out to you, Finn Balor, for taking that. And he took a couple more bumps on ladders, and his back, his back is going to be tore up. Hopefully they don't ask him to do wild card crap tomorrow night. Hopefully they'll let him take tomorrow off, and they canceled the SmackDown house show, so maybe they'll just hopefully let him rest until Tuesday, and maybe hopefully then he'll only have to sit outside of the on the concrete or something. I don't know, but it was just wow. So really, other fantastic stuff. We had Drew McIntyre throwing Ricochet and him breaking a ladder with Ricochet. Randy Orton, at the beginning of the match, Randy Orton, he put, who was it? He put Finn Balor, Ali, and Ricochet. He did the table spot where he's dropped them on the table, and then that elicited a Randy Orton, chant from the crowd. And man, they were just it was fantastic. Randy Orton, he was really motivated in this match tonight. He was really motivated. So now let's talk about the finish. Ali knocked out Baron Corbin. Ali is climbing the ladder. He's getting ready to unhook the thing, but all of a sudden, Brock Lesnar's music hits. And Brock runs down, and he pushes Ali off. He sets up the ladder. He also climbs it, and they ring the bell. So obviously, Brock Lesnar beat up Sami Zayn, hung him by his ankles, and got into the Money in the Bank match to win. And the fans on Twitter, the majority of the fans are just shitting all over that decision. You could see that there was a lot of fans that just, as soon as it happened, they started to walk up. And listen, like I said at the beginning, sometimes fans just complain just because they can. But I thought this was a great thing. Obviously, you would rather have Brock Lesnar be announced, and have him, get beat up some, have him take part of the match. But this I thought was incredible. I really did. And now you've got Brock Lesnar, the ultimate badass, with the Money in the Bank contract. And this is perfect because he doesn't show up every week. He doesn't show up every month. You don't know when you're gonna find him. So this is perfect because now Seth Rollins always needs to look over his shoulder to find out when Brock Lesnar is coming. I think that's going to be great. I think it's going to be great. Now, some people aren't going to like it because more than likely they're going to put the title back on Brock Lesnar afterwards, right? They're going to put the title on Brock Lesnar. Then they're not going to have Brock Lesnar cash in and lose. That's just not going to happen. So he's going to get the Universal title again. And a lot of people aren't going to like that, but I think this was a fantastic decision from WWE. I really do. So yeah, that was Money in the Bank 2019. All in all, we had by the way, the ladder match was 4.5 stars. So we had 2 4.5 stars. We had a 4.25 star. The ladder matches were great. The Universal title match was great. We had some good stuff in between as well. We also had some questionable stuff with the Reigns squash and the United States Championship thing, and then of course the Shane victory. That was probably the worst thing tonight. So yeah, that would be it for my rapid reaction. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Did you guys enjoy this? Give me your ratings on the matches. What did you like the most? What did you like the least? And especially want to hear what you got to think about the finale of the Money in the Bank ladder match. Brock Lesnar being Mr. Money in the Bank, or Mr. Beast in the Bank, or Mr. Money in the Beast, or whatever they're gonna call him, tomorrow night or whenever. So that's going to be incredible. Oh, and by the way, we've got the wild card. So I'm talking about Seth Rollins. Kofi needs to watch his back too. Because they could do that shit when then they have him cash in on Kofi, and he becomes the Money in the Bank winner. So he becomes the WWE champion. So we could see that. Y'all brace yourselves. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy AJ Tripp signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all.